Y'all know what time it is. Y'all don't know, y'all better ask somebody. Hat on, suit on, looking like the Dapper Dawn, giving them microphone, dressed like $1,000,000, diamond things in its cuffs. Y'all tell me who could it be but Steve Harvey? Oh yeah, everybody out there listening to me. Put your hands together for Steve Harvey. Put your hands together. Steve Harvey. Oh, listen, Steve Harvey. Why don't you join me? Yeah. Steve Harvey. Get on, y'all. Better give me some eggs while I listen to Steve Harvey. Yeah, join in with me. If you're with me, help me say, turn your radio on. You gotta turn it on. Yeah, turn it on. Steve Harvey in the morning, y'all. You know y'all can get it on. Turn it up. Steve Harvey in the morning, y'all. Yeah. Turn your radio on. You gotta turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. You gotta turn it on. Turn them out. Steve Harvey got to turn them out. Steve Harvey turn them on in the morning, y'all. Come on, Steve. Come on. Do your thing, Big Daddy.
I sure will. Good morning, everybody. You're listening to The Voice. Come on, dig me now. One and only. Steve Harvey got a radio show. Man, if I had time enough to tell the whole trip, the whole journey, then y'all would be sitting up in there going, okay, Steve, are we going to play the show this week? But, man, it's been a lot of amazing things has happened to me over the years, and not all of them good. It's been some amazingly bad things that have happened, too. But I just come on in the morning as a reminder to everybody of the actual goodness of God, that, you know, man, that these mistakes that you're making, that these setbacks that you keep having, that these falls that keep occurring in your life, that they all are leading you somewhere if you just don't ever give up. That's the key. You can never, ever give up, because you don't know how the trip has been laid out for you. You know, if somebody had told me years ago when I had the dream of being on TV, and then I thought about being one of the best comedians I could be, you know, when I started, if somebody had told me everything that was going to happen in order for me to get there, I would have changed it. I would have said, okay, well, I ain't going to be that. How about this? See, and no one can know all of the events of their life ahead of time. You know, it'd be so nice, wouldn't it? You know, to prepare for it, see it coming, be aware of the haters, always knowing when the backstabbing moment is coming in your life, always knowing when you're going to get blindsided by the enemy. It would be really great to know that, wouldn't it? Well, that's not how it works. So, since no one knows exactly the challenges and the pitfalls and the detours that's going to beset them, it's imperative that you just don't give up. Because, see, knowing these things, we as human beings, by nature, would choose another route. But it ain't the route God got for you, though. See, the route God got for you, if you trying to do the right thing, if you doing the best you can, if you ain't out here just intentionally just messing over folks, if you using faith, and that's the belief in things that you cannot see, if you have something on the inside of you that keeps saying there's got to be more to life than that, then that's you. You, my friend, have a great chance here. And if you've ever had that feeling and gave up on it, just get it back. Just ask for it back. Just say, hey, man, I'm getting back to the way I used to be. Because there's a change that's available in your life, but you got to take it. You got to take a shot at it, folks. There's a chance for you to get it right, but you got to take a shot at it, folks. There's a chance for you to turn this whole thing around with God's help, but you got to take a shot at it. You. See, this decision is yours. The decision to lay down and give up, that's yours. It ain't it just got too hard for me, life too much. Man, life hard and too much for everybody. What I got to get you to see, my father used to always tell me, he said, son, best lessons in life, the one you'll value and learn the most is a bought lesson. I didn't quite understand that being young, but I sure got it now. Ain't no lesson like a bought lesson, the one you pay for. Those are the ones that hold to you, that stick to you, that start turning you into who you're going to be. Those are the character builders. See, you got to be forged to get to where you want to go in life. See, that's what the challenges and missteps is for. That's what the failing is about. Now, I know you don't like it. I didn't. I know you're not comfortable with it. I wouldn't. I know you wish it was over sooner than later. I always do. I always want it to be over sooner than later, because the later, man, it just seems like it's so much I got to go through. But let me tell you something, man. If you can forge your way through it and understand that you are forged in life. I don't know. I was on TBN one time and I was doing one of my motivational speeches, and I began to wonder about this experience I had at Ford Motor Company. And my last job after the auto industry started going down, my last job was in the foundry. And my job was to stand at the end almost where the engines first come out of the furnace. See, the engines are poured into a mold. It's hot, melted down metal, whatever they call it, lava, whatever. They pour it into a mold, and it goes into this furnace that's extremely hot. And my job was, after the heat was applied to the engine block, it would come through, and it would go through a hardening stage. But the way it was hardening, they would cool it suddenly. They would flush it with water. It would just blast water on it. But the fire and the high temperature is what made the engine block solidify. It's because it's got to get real hot, get melted down first. Then it's got to get poured into a mold. Then it's got to be pressure hit with water and all of this. And then it's real hot now. It's still hot, even though there's water been shot up. But when it comes out the end of the side, there's a lot of flashing in it. The flashing is metal from that to drip through the cast molding on it, just like flecks of extra pieces of metal. My job was to hit this engine block in the front with this huge, heavy rubber mallet, knock all the flashing off the front, and when it came around back, to bam, hit it real hard again on the backside. And that became the core of what the car is. A car without a great engine is nothing. It's just a pretty looking vehicle over there. But if it can't do what it was made to do because the engine block then cracked. See, you can have a car look real good, but if it freezes, an engine block crack, your car, it's over, man. You got to get a new block. The block is the core. But in order for the car to do what it's got to do, it's got to have a strong engine in it. In order for the engine to be strong, it's got to be forged in steel, come through fire, get poured in a mold, cooled off, heated, knocked around, beat on the front end, beat on the back end in order for it to be what it's going to be. The moral of the story, folks, is you got to get forged in fire to be what you're going to be. You got to get beat up. You got to get pressure washed. You got to have heat on you. You got to get melted down. You got to get poured into a mold. That's how you become who you are. So the tough things that you're going through, the difficult challenges and the setbacks. I know a brother who went to prison, man, and the whole reason he ended up going to prison because he was looking out the window, looking out in the yard at him working out. And then the next thing you know, man, this brother decided that he was going to go out there and work out. Well, guess what? He's one of the top trainers in country today.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Today's show, I have decided to dedicate to a very, very special and rare breed of people. Today's show is dedicated to pet owners, but only pet owners who have monkeys.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs, cats, I ain't talking to y'all. Fish, nope, I ain't. Only if you got a monkey. This show is for you. I know nobody ever talked to y'all, but today we decided we're talking to the people that's got monkeys. How y'all doing this morning? Good morning, Shirley Strawberry.
Well, I'm out. I don't have one. Hey, Steve.
No. Carla Farrell.
Me neither. What's happening? Morning.
Are we gonna go down the list, Junior?
Morning, Unc. I'm back.
Mm-hmm. Got a monkey?
Nope. Never had
All
one.
right, that's what I thought. Nephew Tommy.
Yay. Back up in the building. No monkeys.
Hey, man. Hey, yesterday, Tommy, the girls asked me why I wasn't playing in your really great benefit golf tournament that you do, Miles for Giving, and they were asking me why I wasn't invited to why I didn't play in the golf tournament.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you know what I told them?
What?
Because I wasn't invited to play in the golf tournament.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah,
And-
true statement.
Yeah. And then
True
you went,
statement,
messed
ladies. And y'all thought I was lying, but here he is today. I did not get an invitation to play in my nephew's golf tournament,
right.
ladies.
And then he went around the room. You're right, Steve, and asked all of us, and we all had to admit that none of us were invited to your golf.
Wow. Junior, you didn't get invited?
Unc, I had talked to him on Friday and didn't get invited.
Oh, Junior, I
Didn't even
knew you
mention
wasn't
it.
going. Junior, I knew you wasn't going. You're not invited nowhere else. You
already
fell
know.
off the list about damn near a year ago. Carla, you didn't go?
No, I wasn't invited.
Oh, Lord.
So, and then, Tommy, we heard that you had the big dinner reception the day before the golf tournament out at the Chateau.
Yep.
And
What?
I ain't never been to the Chateau. Now, y'all been to the Chateau.
You haven't. Wait a minute. Hold
Wait a
up,
minute, Unc.
Steve.
No, not everybody on the show been to the chateau. I
You
ain't never
guys
been.
are this is your nephew.
Oh, God.
Surely no. I ain't never been to the Chateau.
Oh, Tommy. Tommy,
I
as your
never
friend,
been.
as your
He has
friend,
not been to
Tommy,
Houston. He has not come to Houston.
have you
So I got to be
invited
in
him?
Hey, Shirley. So I got to be in Houston to come to his house.
Apparently, Uncle Steve. Apparently so.
Well, obviously.
Randomly.
Hey, Shirley, Shirley,
Just
Shirley,
randomly.
like I ain't got plane money to get to
Yeah.
Houston.
Right.
But I'm
Or
trying
a
to say,
plane.
you can make it to Botswana, but Houston way your reach.
Bam.
Ooh,
Going to Dubai. Bam. Ghana. Bam. Joburg.
Last
bam.
time he was in Houston, he dropped me off in his private jet and kept going.
What that got to do with the damn golf tournament?
Yeah, he going on what you did
I'm
before.
sorry.
All right, listen, guys. Coming up at 32 after the hour, Steve, you'll be interested
Rich
in
people
this.
laugh out the back of their throat.
You'll be interested in this, Steve. Eddie Murphy is now cringing about the jokes he told in his comedy special, Raw. We're going to talk about that right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Time now for something funny. Or maybe not. Well, what made us laugh back in the 1980s makes Eddie Murphy, Steve, cringe now. That's what he told the New York Times about his comedy special, Raw, that we all loved. Eddie says, I was a young guy processing a broken heart. You know, kind of an a blank. Eddie explained, calling it a bit much. Of course, the 1987 comedy special grossed $50 million in movie theaters, and a lot of comedians, including Eddie's early stand-up, was often laced with racial gender. You know that. Eddie even joked about the AIDS epidemic, and now he calls those jokes ignorant. He apologized for it years ago and has no plans to revisit it in his upcoming return to stand-up. Eddie Murphy's latest film, Dolomite Is My Name, opens Friday, and he'll host Saturday Night Live on December 21st. Can't wait for that. In addition to Coming to America 2, which will also feature Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, Sherry Headley, Wesley Snipes, Tracy Morgan, Leslie Jones. That hits theaters next year. So what do you think about that, Steve?
I mean, I understand that. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us. It was a different climate back then.
Yeah.
Like I was
Totally
saying the
different.
other day.
Yeah.
In 1985, guys were doing AIDS jokes. And it was acceptable because no one understood it back then. And as crude as it appears now, back then people in the audience, they were laughing. It was not as sensitive as it is today. I don't know of a comedian who hasn't told a joke that the person they are today would never say a thing like that. That's what hurt Kevin Hart with the
Oscars.
whole Oscar thing. Kevin said something years ago in a tweet that cost him his dream gig of hosting the Oscars. Now, what I do not like is when we go back to a person's past and make them pay today for a past mistake.
Yeah.
That's not fair. People change.
People change.
They
grow.
evolve. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's what life is all about. Growing and changing and becoming responsible.
I'm gonna tell you something,
and
man.
mature.
And
Look, man, that's crude. But when a person grows up and changes, do we forever have to hold them to their past?
It seems so nowadays, Steve, because of the internet. It will live forever on the internet, and you can
It does
always
not die.
Yeah, you can always Google them and look it up and find it, and find a reason, to cancel them, to cancel their career and stuff, because we live in that kind of cancel culture.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in full agreement of that because people have the right to grow up. They
do.
change. If you could be held accountable for everything you did at 18, who would be working today?
Well, I wouldn't be on this show.
Nobody.
Oh no.
No, we wouldn't be on the show.
man.
No.
And
everybody
so,
has a past.
yeah, what kills me though is we get so self-righteous with other people, not realizing that because we're not in a governorship or in politics or in entertainment or in sports or a CEO of a corporation, that we haven't done something that if they only knew.
Right. And then it makes things like apologizing and forgiving. I mean, what are those for? For times like these when people make mistakes, they apologize and they move sincerely from the heart and forgive and they move on. We don't even give a person now the opportunity to apologize and continue to live his life. Or we are so unforgiving as a culture as well.
Yeah.
We don't do
Unforgiving society.
Yeah, we just don't do it. We do not do that. And it's a shame. It really, really is.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, though, Steve. So you talked about the governor, Ralph Northam of Virginia, with his yearbook picture people dug up at the blackface. And then you remember last week we were talking about the Prime Minister of Canada, who, he wore the blackface multiple times.
Right.
You remember how they kept saying they found a picture of him doing it again and again. What about a person that does that kind of offends people over and over with the same thing from the past?
Here's the deal. If you do something that offends people and they bring it to your attention and you do it again, but then
That's
again,
different.
there are
Unapologetic.
people, that there are people who've done things more than once thinking it's funny without really even realizing what they've done. And you do it again. Or, see, I'm going to tell you, man, when you travel in a certain circle where it's acceptable and thought of as funny, it's no harm, no foul.
Right.
We have a president
I was just
that has grown up in that world where you can call women Pocahontas, where you've never seen a person taken from a family before. So you don't care that these Latinos get separated from their children. You don't know what it feels like to be a 4-year-old and ISIS done picked up your parents and now nobody's picking you up from school. That's inhumane behavior towards a child. But if you've never been in that circle and experienced it, you don't know. It's like Donald Trump once made the statement when they asked him, they said, why won't you ever make housing for poor people? You know what his response was? Rich people need somewhere to live too. That was his response. Donald Trump said rich people need somewhere to live too. Wait a minute. This is the guy that you all elected to govern a country where the masses of people are not rich. And you picked a guy who's never been nothing but rich to govern a world and a country of people, and the predominant people are not rich. That's crazy. What made Obama effective was he was a greater servant, which made him a great leader. Now, all Donald Trump trying to do is take away everything he's ever done to make himself look like a good president. He's the worst.
Yeah. Coming up, Nephew Tommy's Run That Prank Back. That's coming up right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Coming up at the top of the hour, guys, in entertainment news, R. Kelly says he wants out of jail because his health is failing. And we'll also tell you about...
R. Kelly, my cousin won't out of jail.
My uncle won't out.
No, everybody I know, my partner Willie won't out.
Well,
Butchie won't out.
Everybody won't out.
You better get the song.
also,
Donald won't out.
Also, Steve, Stacey Dash is in the news for her domestic violence arrest. We'll talk about that. But right now...
She beat somebody?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right now, Nephew Tommy is here.
I never knew Stacey
with Run That Prank Back. Yeah, allegedly.
Stacey Dash whooping somebody ass?
Her husband.
What?
You know that's big now.
What?
What is?
But it's more to the story.
Yeah.
It's a serious part to the story as well.
Okay, well, I ain't
in
heard
her
it
defense.
Yet, so. I ain't heard it yet, so the joke I'm doing, I'm going with.
You go with the information you got.
Based on just the initial line you said, Stacey Dash is in for domestic violence. I'm thinking Stacey Dash whooping people's ass now. Now, if there's more to this story, let I'll wait and hear.
Yeah, that
right
was just
now,
a tease, Steve.
Yeah,
Right now you're clueless.
Wrote this joke, and right now I'm clueless.
Clueless, that's the movie she starred in.
Yeah, that's why you said.
All right, Nephew. I know. Nephew, what you got for us?
All right, let's get it together. Everybody needs to do it. It's that time. Your funeral arrangement. Let's go ahead. Your funeral arrangement.
Hello?
Hello, I'm trying to reach a Miss Diane, please.
She's not in at the moment. I'll take a message, please.
My name is John. I'm actually the funeral director here at funeral home. Miss Diane came in earlier today and tried to get the arrangements set. First of all, I want to say my condolences to you all and your entire family for what you're going through. She filled out some paperwork here, and I wanted to make sure I got everything actually correct. I'm a little not sure on what she wants on the actual tombstone. I don't know if she wants Rob or Robert. Are you one of the members that may be able to tell me exactly what she would want on the tombstone?
I'm Robert. What this all about? She came in this morning. What you talking about?
Okay, hold on a second, sir. You're who?
I am Robert. Robert. That's me.
Okay, and is there Robert Senior or?
The Junior is just a child. I'm Robert Senior. That's who I am. Junior is a child. Neither one of us did. We're healthy.
Okay. Hang on. Oh my God. All right. I don't. Okay. Hang on a second, sir.
Yeah.
Diane, Miss Diane is your wife?
Yeah, Diane is my wife. You sure you got the right Diane? You sure?
She came in this morning, maybe 5'5", salt and pepper hair, shoulder length, maybe a medium brown complexion.
Mm-hmm. What kind of car was she driving? Did you see the car? You can see the car or something?
It seemed like it was some type of was it a Camry, I think?
Yeah, that's her. And what happened? Tell me what happened this morning. She came in and said what to you?
She came in, Mr. Why don't I call back when Miss Diane is there and we can?
Don't call back. You know, tell me now, right now. I need to know what the is going on. My wife want to tell me she want to have a funeral for me, and you want to call me, let her know. Tell me now,
sir. All I know is Miss Diane came in. The paperwork was a little. I was just coming reevaluating on what was written here. It wasn't right. I mean, she came in. She picked out the casket. She did everything that she was supposed to.
Casket, bro. This right here, bro. I don't understand. I don't really understand what's going on. But I'm gonna find out later on. I'm gonna find out.
Sir, I don't understand. I've never been in a situation like this. Okay, so
you about to get in a situation.
Maybe I need to call back when Miss Diane gets there.
Man,
okay.
I said I need to talk to you now. She get here at 6 o'clock. Don't worry about that. Where you at? Anyway, what's your name again? Where you at? I'm John, sir. I'm the funeral home director. I'm sorry. John, you might be making some funeral arrangements for her too. I might need to switch names and put her name on there.
Okay, sir.
But guess what? 6 o'clock is 6 o'clock.
Sir,
6 o'clock. You gonna be there?
Sir, a funeral is a very serious thing, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
serious, bro. Look, my wife is coming. She trying to bury me. I'm Rob. What name you got on the paper? Rob, right?
It's Rob or Robert, whichever one. I mean, I don't know.
We ain't even been beefing. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even been arguing. We had a little light argument last week by a little light bill, some little like that. But you gonna have a funeral for me?
Okay.
Man, this don't make no sense. I tell you like this, they got the right now. You got the right one. I tell you, man, I'm not around. Watch.
Sir, Mr. Can I? I mean, since I have you on the phone, can I ask you what? Is it all right if I ask you something, sir?
Man, what you want to ask me, bro?
I mean, since it is your funeral, would you like the light blue lining or the white lining inside on the inside?
Oh, come on, you playing with me, right? Now you trying me. Now if I come down there and swing on your, you won't like it. There's gonna be 2 funerals. You and her. Keep on now. You gonna pick your own line. Oh, man, I'm out here busting my right here. 12-hour shift. All I said, cut a little bit of lights off around here. Gonna keep the bill out. But you would say her around here.
Hello, sir.
But these lights on. Now a funeral? Come on, man. Boy, I swear to God. This
okay. Can I tell you what else your wife told me when she was here?
What? What else she told you? Yeah, I need to know. Anyway, I need to know. Tell me. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, she told me to tell you exactly who I was.
What? Who is you?
I'm sorry.
Who are you,
sir?
You the funeral director.
I'm not. Yeah, okay. I'm not John from the funeral home.
You better tell me you nobody else. Not no none of. You talking about the funeral? Who this is?
This right here is Nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Your wife Diane got me to prank phone call you. Hello, Mr.
I swear y'all ain't. Tommy boy. Y'all play too much, man. Y'all need to stop playing on people's phones, man. Oh, for real, man. Y'all need to cut it out. Tell that Steve, I say, hey, man, look here, bro. Big Daddy need a suit, man. Size 58. I need all that. Need all that shoes, socks, hat, all that.
All right, man. Hat, suit, hey, let me ask you, Mr. Lee, what is the baddest radio show in the land?
The Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Nah.
Is it classic? I just need to know, is it classic?
Oh, man. You know what you missed while you were at your golf tournament?
What?
Ooh. J. Anthony Brown doing Nephew Tommy.
Oh, God.
T and Tommy.
Tell him about it, Steve.
Huh?
He was like,
oh, really?
Oh, he was doing you, buddy. The president of Team Tommy.
All right, coming up at the top of the hour, entertainment news and national news right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, time for entertainment news, guys.
Hold on, let me do this right here. Do you know, Tommy, how bad Jay was talking about you yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Boy,
was it that bad?
Yeah, we just told you earlier what he was doing. Yeah.
Boy, he was doing. You said, huh? Huh? Did I do it? Huh? He said, man, what's the matter? Tommy can't hear. And then he said, ah. cha-cha-cha-cha.
He said it slowly.
Boy, he said it so. Cha-cha-cha-cha.
Yeah. He gave Junior a run for his money, let's just say, okay?
Okay. All
T
right.
and Tommy, president and
Yo,
CEO.
no, he finna be impeached
What is
as the president.
All right, let's get to some entertainment news. R. Kelly says he wants out of jail. He says he wants out because his health is failing, guys. R is back in court. He's going back to court for a second try at getting out, pending his various trials, claiming his health has been compromised behind bars.
Who in there don't want out, though?
Exactly. His lawyers just filed a new legal doc obtained by TMZ in which they outline his various medical issues, including numbness in one of his hands, anxiety, and an untreated hernia. Our lawyer, Steve Greenberg, claims that Robert is not receiving adequate medical treatment in jail and calls the conditions of his confinement stifling.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe what he's saying is true. But let me share a couple things.
Okay.
Go down the list of his symptoms again.
Oh, his hand, numbness in his hand.
I've been to jail.
In one of his hands.
I've been to jail. My hand was numb because I was sitting on it all night.
Okay.
That's happened to me. Next symptom.
And anxiety, Steve?
Anxiety. Everybody in jail got anxiety.
Yeah.
It's called jail.
It's called jail.
Everybody, ain't nobody in there chilling.
Yeah.
Everybody in there got anxiety. What else he got?
Future. And an untreated hernia. What are you going to do about that?
Hell yeah, everybody got hernia. I straining my ass off in there. Yeah. Because I stayed in there for a weekend. And let me tell you something. I got a hernia because I got constipated because I didn't go to the bathroom because it was over there in the corner. And I wasn't pulling my pants down in that corner because I was young. So I had a hernia when I got out and went home. I got my hernia at the house. Yeah, trying to go to the bathroom. You constipated, you're going to get a hernia if you really constipated. So now, to say all that,
And
I understand where all coming from.
Well, and, he also, he lives with these two girlfriends, but only one of them is allowed to be on his visiting list. And after 90 days, he's required to switch. Now, he did confirm to TMZ the woman who is currently on the list is Azriel Clary. So Jocelyn Savage has to wait it out before she can visit him.
Oh, she there. She just in the car outside. What'd he say? He asked about me.
Wow.
I don't really know nothing about this. And I'm like, I just found out a couple weeks ago that he was in jail. I didn't even know it.
Well, I'm going to quickly get to the Stacey Dash story, Steve, before we run out of time. She was arrested for domestic violence in Florida over the weekend. According to TMZ again, law enforcement sources say that Stacey allegedly punched and slapped her husband, attorney Jeffrey Marty, and they saw scratches on his left arm. Stacey told a 911 operator that she had been assaulted by her husband. She claims the husband's 15-year-old daughter got in her face, and that started the whole situation. The couple has been married for a year. This is Stacey's fourth
You got to whip
marriage.
the 15-year-old ass. You got to make an example out of 15-year-old.
All right.
Yeah, but she said she was defending herself.
Yeah, she was defending herself.
That's all of us do. That's how, every fight I've been in, I've been defending myself.
All right, let's move on, Steve. Let's get to our headlines, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ann Tripp.
Okay, goodness. This is Ann Tripp for the news, everybody. The official impeachment inquiry began in earnest yesterday on Capitol Hill. The House Intelligence Committee sent a subpoena to President Trump's personal lawyer, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, for documents related to the investigation. And yesterday's action comes after 3 committee chairs consulted with each other and sent a letter giving Giuliani until October 15th to turn over stuff, materials which they say are about the, quote, the extent to which President Trump jeopardized national security by pressuring Ukrainian officials to interfere with our 2020 election. By the way, the New York Times now reports that Donald Trump asked Australia's Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, to help discredit the Mueller investigation. It's Trump's alleged, that was about Trump's alleged collusion, if you remember, with the Russians to sway votes in his favor during the last presidential election. The Times says that he tried to get Australia's prime minister to kind of discredit that investigation. In Dallas, both sides have rested their cases in the trial of the former female police officer charged with essentially breaking into her upstairs neighbor's apartment and shooting him to death. Amber Guyger, who's white, claims she was too tired to realize that she'd entered her upstairs black neighbor's apartment when she murdered him. Her lawyers are insisting that she was standing her own ground. The prosecutors say that's ridiculous since it wasn't her apartment, but the judge has allowed that argument to go. It has not been reported whether Amber Guyger was ever given a breathalyzer test, by the way, by her colleagues that night, but she has since been fired from the force, given a job teaching people how to avoid dangerous situations. The prosecutor summed up her story by saying Guyger was caught in a lie during her testimony, and the prosecutor says, quote, most of what she said was garbage. Now a law in California that mandates that college athletes get paid. The bill is called the Fair Play to Pay Act. It was signed into law yesterday by Governor Gavin Newsom, who says college players will now have the right to make money off their names, image, and likenesses.
It's going to change college sports for the better by having now the interests, finally, of the athletes on par with the interests of the institution.
Sad news, internationally renowned opera singer Jesse Norman has died at age 74. Norman was born in the segregated South in September of 1945 and broke several color and other barriers, like becoming the youngest person to ever receive a Kennedy Center honor. She was nominated for 15 Grammys. She won 4, and she was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award Grammy in 2006. Jesse Norman was 74. And finally, on the lighter side today, International African Diaspora Day. Recognize. Now back to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
So maybe you're thinking about fall hair transformation. Listen, I want you to check out Madison-Reed.com. If you want multi-dimensional hair color, I'm talking vibrant, shiny, with natural-looking results, or you just want to cover up that stubborn gray like I do, check out Madison-Reed.com. And if you have any questions, you can get an expert personalized color consultation, or you can do like I did and take the color quiz at Madison-Reed.com. Get gorgeous hair color delivered to your door for less than $25. Go to Madison-Reed.com. And Steve Harvey Morning Show listeners, we're going to give you 10% off plus free shipping. Yes, on your first color kit with the code Harvey. That's code Harvey.
All right, so during the closing arguments in Amber Guyger's murder trial, Assistant District Attorney Jason Fine said in closing arguments on yesterday that Guyger was an intruder in Botham Jean's home. This case is about accountability for unreasonable decisions. The prosecution told the jury, "You 16 are the voice of the community. This cannot be allowed. It cannot be acceptable, not here in Dallas."
16, Shirley?
Well,
the jury?
16.
Yeah. Are the voice of the community, yeah.
I thought it was 12
I thought it was 12, too.
Yeah, but he said you 16.
You 16,
so.
That's what he said, yeah.
And that's according to CBS News.
Mm-hmm. And anyway, so he said, "You 16 are the voice of the community. This cannot be allowed. It cannot be acceptable. Not here in Dallas, not here in Texas, not anywhere." However, Guyger's attorney, Toby Shook, urged jurors not to base their decision on emotion. He says, "You can't say, 'I feel so horrible for Botham Jean. I am going to make something happen.' You can't use emotion when making your decision." The judge also ruled the jury can consider the Castle Doctrine during deliberations. Now, the Castle Doctrine is similar to the Stand Your Ground law. It allows a person to use or using force, even deadly force, in the protection of a home, vehicle, or other property if someone attempts to forcibly enter or remove an individual from the premises. Now, that's not what happened here. The prosecution also reminded jurors that Guyger could see Botham Jean after opening his door, and Guyger wore a police uniform belt with tools on it, but she chose to use the most lethal weapon, a gun, and shoot him dead in his heart.
While he got a bowl of ice cream in his
Sitting
hand.
down with a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah.
She
a lot of people are
get away
thinking
with
she's going to
this.
get off, though, Steve.
I'm really
that's
concerned about
That
it.
seems to be the sentiment, yeah.
I'm really, really concerned about this.
Yeah.
I've seen acts of racism in this country many times before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really concerned about this.
I mean, it's a case to be concerned, to have concern about. Even though he says don't use your emotions, what he just wants them to look at the facts. Okay.
That's what her attorney
Yeah,
is
her
saying.
attorney.
Yeah,
her defense attorney.
If we look at the facts.
Yeah.
You broke in the
if you
man's
look at-
house.
yeah.
You walked in the man's house.
Yeah.
And it's just not enough to me to say I thought it was my apartment. I don't buy that argument. I'm sorry.
You killed a person for no reason.
Yeah, it's not a
For no reason. He wasn't committing a crime. He wasn't in the act of anything.
He didn't have a weapon.
No, you killed him for no reason.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch eating ice cream and you shot him in
All right.
the heart. Oh, jeez.
All right, we got to get out of here. If you want to comment on the story, go to Steve Harvey FM on Instagram or Facebook. Now, coming up at 34 after, Ice-T is defending his wife for breastfeeding. We'll talk about it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Well, in trending parenting news, we'll call this, Ice-T's wife, Coco, Steve, you know Coco. We all know Coco.
Yes.
Yeah. Unapologetically now takes pride in sharing with the world that she still breastfeeds her almost 4-year-old daughter, Chanel. Coco shared a picture on Instagram that it's a mother calling to fulfill certain responsibilities, and that includes nursing. A lot of people have disagreeing opinions about breastfeeding an almost 4-year-old. Ice-T responded and defended his wife. Take a listen, please.
They were giving Coco a problem with the breastfeeding. Do you think it was just a little bit overblown?
I make it like the baby only eats breastfeeds. Kid does every once in a while, you know what I'm saying, she wants to get close to her moms, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? She eats food, she eats cheeseburgers.
He said she eats cheeseburgers.
This is Ice-T.
Anyway. Yeah, that was Ice-T defending Coco breastfeeding her 4-year-old baby.
I ain't mad at it.
That's what they're
his
for.
wife. That's what she want to do.
Yeah. And that's what they are. We are. Yeah. That's why we have.
You got that right. Now, is it publicly? That ain't publicly.
Well, I mean, she put out a picture on Instagram, so she made it public.
She was on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on a private plane.
But she shared the picture on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, she was on a private plane.
But
you can't do that on Delta now. You can't do that.
You can if you put the blanket over you, or go in the lavatory.
No,
Southwest.
You try Southwest if you want.
Not if they still got that seat that's facing you.
Try it on Spirit.
That is the most natural thing in the world, guys.
Yes.
Well, no. Here's the deal. All jokes aside.
Yeah.
No, all jokes aside. I don't care what a woman do with their child. It ain't your baby. You do it the way you want to do it.
And Steve, I was in O'Hare. This woman was breastfeeding her baby, and he could walk and talk, and she was breastfeeding her baby out, not covered up. I saw her entire breasts, everything.
Well, did you see the Time magazine?
Yeah, I remember that
when
cover.
they had that woman, and that little boy was standing there. He was like 8.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was just standing there,
ago.
looking at the camera, just gnawing.
Yeah.
I was
offended.
I didn't know how to.
I mean,
you didn't know how to feel.
You feel something. You feel some kind of way about it. You do.
But
because we're in this society, we're just not, it's not something that we do in public.
Listen, if Ice-T and Coco
he was
breastfeed their baby,
Steve.
With 4,
that
he's
boy
4.
was 4 on Time magazine.
The other boy,
one you're talking
he
about.
was 4. That little boy with that short jean jacket on, with them sneakers, was 4. He was the tallest damn 4-year-old I saw.
That was
he wasn't leaning up or nothing. They was standing there. He just turned and went at him.
Yeah.
He was at eye level.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you what. Here's what I think. Just a couple of ways I think that when you're taking the breastfeeding too far.
Okay.
This is just a couple of things. If when the baby gets through, they take a napkin and pat their mouth dry.
I can't stand you.
I think that right there is time for this to stop right here.
Yeah.
If the baby can stand there and unbutton your blouse and then button it back up when he's through, I think we might be at the point where enough is enough.
But is there a cutoff age, though, realistically?
If the baby can turn around and go, what the hell y'all looking at? I think
that sounds like a grown
man.
That
could be a cutoff point. That's all I'm saying about it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Say, man, now if the baby is talking to the husband and you hear something like, say, man, get your own mama. I think it's probably time.
With all that bass.
But it is.
Get your own mama.
I do agree with Ice-T. It is a great way to bond for mother and baby, to have that closeness and that bond.
And for us as men, we really don't know what that is, because I already know. My grandson came out in the backyard today and was just talking to me, and I ain't even want to talk to his little ass.
Just walked off from him, didn't you?
Yeah, just go on, boy. I don't feel like this.
All right, look, coming up next, Nephew in the building with today's prank phone call right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Coming up at the top of the hour, right about 4 minutes after, it's my strawberry letter for today. Subject, I'm in too deep with this guy. But right now, Nephew, right here with today's prank phone call. What you got for us, Neff?
Well, bump and grind.
Huh?
Bump and grind. No relation to R. Kelly. Bump and grind.
We're about to cancel this one.
Hello, I'm trying to reach Marcus. Marcus. Yeah, this is he. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me pretty good? Yeah, I can hear you, man. Go ahead. Hey, listen. Hold on. Let me turn the radio down for a second. Go ahead. Hey, listen. I live in an apartment building that you just moved into. I live in 21A, and you live above me in 22A. I actually got your number from the leasing office. I told them I wanted to welcome you to the apartment building, man, but I didn't want to really raise no eyebrows, but I was really calling about, first of all, let me go ahead and say welcome to the building, man. I hope that you and your is that your wife that lives with you? First of all, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. But why would you need to have my number to do that? You could have just came and knocked on my door, man. Well, yeah. Well, see, the reason why I really called and got the number was kind of reach out to you, man. I don't be wanting to start no trouble with nobody or nothing like that. I be wanting to, I want my neighbors to be cool with me, and I want to be cool with my neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's cool. So I was reaching out, man, because the noise, man. I work at night and I sleep during the day, man. But it seems like since you guys moved in, man, in the middle of the day, I know what it's like to have a lady. Wait, hold on. You're hearing noises coming from my place in the middle of the day? Right. I'm hearing. I'm guessing I'm hearing you making love to your lady, man. Nah, man. You know what it is? You might be hearing something from another unit, man. It's definitely not coming from us, because I'm at work and my girl is there, but she's on the computer. She's looking for a gig right now. Hello? Okay. Wait a minute now. So you live in apartment 22A, right? Yeah. Okay. See, I live in 21A. Your bedroom is above my bedroom. Wait a minute. Hold on. You telling me that you hearing noises that sound like somebody's making love coming from my crib at this time of day, and I'm not there, and only my woman is there? Dude, man, again, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I appreciate you calling and neighbor and all that. 21A, you said you went, right? Yeah. Man, look, you called me, all right? So let's get to the bottom of this one time. You saying you hearing noise. What kind of noise are you hearing exactly? Tell me. Hey, you know what, man? This is probably just a big mistake. Maybe she's just hanging some pictures or something, bro. You know what? Let me man. I apologize for calling. Pictures, man. We ain't even bought no pictures yet. You calling me like you hearing a jackhammer going off in my crib. What you talking about, man? Hey, man. Listen, Marcus. I apologize. No, my man. You telling me I'm a man? You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what you are, but I'm a man. No, I understand. You calling me, telling me you hearing noises coming from my crib that sound like somebody, and now you telling me don't worry about it? Maybe hey, man, all I'm saying is maybe it's just a legitimate mistake. I don't think maybe she hanging some pictures or moving some furniture or something like that. Ain't no pictures, man. I keep telling you that. Ain't no pictures. Ain't nobody hanging. It shouldn't be no noise coming from my crib. Hey, man, I ain't trying to start no trouble, man. Well, you not starting some man. What you talking about? Man, all I was calling about was trying to get a decent rest, man. I work at night, bro. That's all I'm talking about, man. I'm not trying to. I don't give a if you work the graveyard shit. I don't care. You calling me, telling me about my crib that I just moved into. You hearing noises. Ain't no
going on like that, man. I don't even believe it. You got the right address. Where you live at, man? You live on man?
Yes, man, in apartment 21A, and your place is above mine, man.
Hold on, man. You pull the truck over, man. Hold on 1 second, man. Cause you talking some
dude. Hey, man, look, I'm not trying to have no trouble, man. I'm not trying to have no trouble, man.
You got your working there, dude. I do 50 hours a week, man. I don't need to hear like this.
Okay, dog. All I'm saying is, man, I thought you was making love to your woman, man. That's what I thought. That's why I called you to ask y'all to keep the noise down.
I ain't making love to my wife. I ain't even in my house right now. I'm in my radio. Trust that. You can hear this 21A, and I'm coming right to your crib to hear it. I ain't hearing from your crib.
No, hold the hell up, dude. You're not coming to my apartment to hear nothing, man. I ain't got nothing to do with this.
I want your don't talk that to me. You don't know me.
I ain't letting you in my house, man, about no man that you got going on upstairs. You gotta control your woman, man. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Don't tell me nothing about my woman. You don't even know my woman.
I know she been up there weighing it out for the last 2 weeks between 12 and 2. I know that.
You talking to gang, man. I'm coming to your house.
You ain't coming to my apartment, man. I'm not in. Hey, man, listen. No. I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm telling you.
You got trouble. I'm coming to your crib, man.
Hey, I got one more thing I need to say to you, man. Did you listen?
From my crib. I ain't even home.
I got one more thing I need to say, all right? All right? You better listen. You better be telling me you opening the door. Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
This is Nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. You just got pranked by your homeboy.
Wait a minute. Hold. What the Do you live at 21A, man?
Step away from 21A, please. This is Nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Your boy got me to prank you, man.
Oh, damn.
Are you at 21A?
Dude, I'm right outside my apartment, man. I'm ready to blow that hang up, man.
Nephew Tommy? This Tommy, man. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, Tommy, you had me going, man. I was coming to up, man. I'm serious, man.
I got one more thing I got to ask before I let you go, man. What is the baddest radio show in the land, man?
Man, it's the Steve Harvey Morning Show, without a doubt.
Hey, man, step away from 21A. Step away.
Oh, goodness.
Go ahead, Junior, if you don't mind.
Huh? There it is. Huh? What? Huh? Give it to me. Huh? Hey, what?
You're the greatest.
Nephew be pranking.
You're the greatest.
That's what I do. I go prank. See, pranking is on a whole nother level when I do it. This ain't even what you do. This is what I do.
Give it to me.
Cause stupidity. Yeah.
Come on,
that's
give
what
it to
I do
me.
right there. Come on now. I'm the greatest to ever do this.
Come on,
I'm
say
the
it.
king of these. Huh? Come on, y'all. I don't hear y'all. Where y'all at?
High tide. Come on.
Huh?
You're great.
Cha-cha-cha-cha.
What was that last line?
October 19th, I'm at Wachovia Center.
Wait. That's this weekend. Wacomico. I will be there this weekend. You was very close. Salisbury, Maryland. Wacomico Civic Center. And
what
on...
you talking about, Junior? Wachovia. That's a bank.
Well, I couldn't say the other one.
Which
I
is
thought
now
that what
Wells
it was.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Also on October 5th, it is the premiere date of Ready to Love, my second season on OWN, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. You do not want to miss it. Come check us out. Tune in. 20 singles looking for love in the city of Atlanta. I am the host. I am the coach. I am the Cupid. I am the man. So y'all tune in. I'm very serious. I'm very smart
Cupid,
on
but
there.
you
I'm very
show the same
intelligent.
size.
You got to check me out. And there's no stupidity at all.
You lying.
That shut the room down right there.
Yeah.
All right.
You know you lying.
All right. Coming up right after this, thank you, Nephew. Today's Strawberry Letter subject, I am in too deep with this guy. We'll get into it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, time now for today's Strawberry Letter. And listen, if you need advice on relationships, dating, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to Steve Harvey FM and click Submit Strawberry Letter, okay? We could be reading your letter like this one right here, right now. All right?
Buckle up. Hold on tight. We got it for you. Here it is. Strawberry letter.
Thank you, nephew. Subject, I'm in too deep with this guy. Dear Steve and Shirley, I've been seeing a guy for 8 months now, and our relationship is strictly sexual. When we first met, he told me that he has a girlfriend and that he lives in another state, that he had no plans to break up with her, but she can't fulfill his needs when she's so far away. When we first met at a club, and I would run into him at local parties, so we were bound to hook up sooner or later. We have sex often, and it's really good sex. I am the one who satisfies his sexual needs and desires while his girlfriend is away. I have a problem, though. When his girlfriend is in town, I often run into my guy and his girlfriend in the club or at parties. I have to see him all up on her, dancing seductively and giving her public displays of affection right in front of me. It's becoming a real problem for me, and I have realized that I'm catching feelings for this guy. I have started to question myself because his girlfriend is pretty and she has a great body. But so do I. I am also very well educated, and I could easily be any man's prized possession. I recently turned 40, and I feel like it's time for me to stop playing games and get what I deserve. I feel like I deserve this guy, and I no longer desire to be his side chick. I have been hinting at it, and he tells me that I am a great woman and any man would be lucky to have me. So, should I tell him that I want to be with him and give him an ultimatum, or do you think he would just discard me and get another side chick? Yep. Everything you said in your letter is true, so you already know the answer. I mean, even before you wrote in. Yeah, he'll probably just discard you and get someone else. Because the girlfriend that he has that lives out of town is obviously who he wants. But you signed up for this. You signed up for this. In your second line, this relationship is strictly sexual. You said it. You said we were bound to hook up sooner or later. We were bound to hook up sooner or later? Really? I mean, you said you have sex often. It's really good sex. You're the one who satisfies him. Yeah, you're doing all the work, but he was honest with you. He told you he had a girlfriend. He told you he had no plans to break up with her. He told you, and you accepted all of this. I mean, I get it. Things change because guess what? We as women aren't built for this. We aren't built like this. But you already know the answers. You're pretty. You have a beautiful body. You're very well educated. All that. You could easily be any man's prized possession. You recently turned 40. It's time for you to stop playing games. Okay, well, stop. Stop. Let this man go on and be with this woman that he's had before you, since, and after you, and you go on at 40 and get your own man, okay? You get your own man. You just like you caught feelings for him because you were being so sexual and everything for him, you could catch feelings for someone else, okay? So get yourself together, raise your self-esteem, and get what you truly deserve. You already know this. Steve?
This is a letter about a woman who's kidding herself. And, you know, I read these letters and I read them a little bit differently. I just don't like when a woman lies. I just don't like that. And sister, I hate to tell you this, but if you would just stop lying, you could be okay. I've been seeing a guys for 8 months now, and our relationship is strictly sexual. That's a lie. It's a lie. It's been stopped being strictly sexual for you quite some time ago. That's not true. When we first met, he told me he had a girlfriend that lives in another state and he had no plans on breaking up with her. He told you that. But she can't fulfill his needs when she's far away. All he said was, I be wanting to have sex sometimes and she ain't here to give it to me. But I have no intention of breaking up with her. Then she tries to backtrack. We first met at a club, and I would run into him at local parties. So we were bound to hook up sooner or later. Why?
Bound.
Why? What that mean? I done ran up into a lot of people. Wasn't no bound to nothing.
Right.
No. You wanted this from several events. You've looked over at him and you made it up in your mind that you wanted him. What you mean we was bound to hook up sooner or later? You know how many times you see somebody all the time? You know how many people see somebody at work that's cute, but it ain't bound to be a hookup? We have sex often and it's really good sex. I'm the one who satisfies his sexual needs and desires while his girlfriend is away. Excuse me, girlfriend. His girlfriend, the one he told you that he has no plans of breaking up with. I'm the one who satisfies his sexual needs and desires when his girlfriend is away. This is what gets women into trouble. See, women, you're such nurturers. You oftentimes think that I can fix it. So since you have this problem with this woman being away so long and she can't supply your needs, I tell you what, I'm going to supply your needs. I got you while she is away. Now, I got a problem, though. Because when his girlfriend is in town, I often run into my guy and his girlfriend in the club or at parties. What kind of small-ass town is this? Y'all must be staying in a little bitty-ass town. I have to see him all up on her dancing seductively and giving her public displays of affection right in front of me. It's his girlfriend that he has no intentions of breaking up with. Why you forgetting this here? Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be in front of you. Because he ain't having an affair with you. He ain't told this to the girl.
Hang on, Steve. Hold that thought.
All right.
Hold that thought.
I'm good at this right here.
Yeah.
He told you.
We'll have part 2 of Steve's response coming up in 23 minutes after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, come on, Steve. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letters subject. I'm in too deep with this guy.
Here's this lady, been seeing this guy for 8 months, lied to us right in the first sentence, said our relationship is strictly sexual. Nothing after this letter says it's strictly sexual. Got a girlfriend living in another state, has no plans of breaking up with her. She can't fulfill his needs when she's so far away. So we met at a club, and I run up into him at a local party, so we was bound to hook up sooner or later. What? Who makes that damn statement? I keep seeing him everywhere. It must be a sign from the Lord.
Keep seeing everybody in that town, though.
Yeah. Every time I go down to this Chick-fil-A, I see the same people down there. I ain't never thought, well, they in here again.
You are funny.
Must be more than chicken. I have a problem, though. When his girlfriend is in town, I run into the guy and his girlfriend in the club at parties. I got to see him all up on her dancing seductively and giving her public displays of affection right in front of me. That's cause you knew the rules. You knew the rules from the beginning. He told you he has no intentions of breaking up with her. You know the rules. And when she in town, he ain't in your face, cause she in town supplying his needs. You supply him when she ain't there. That's become a real problem for me because I have realized that I'm catching feelings for this guy. Another lie. I'm catching feelings for this guy. No, you caught him.
Yeah.
You been had him. I have started to question myself because his girlfriend is pretty and she has a great body, but so do I. Okay, well, I'm also very well educated and here's the line, y'all. I'm also very well educated and I could easily be any man's prized possession. Well, you know why? You're not, first of all, you are any man's prized possession. You are.
Absolutely.
Ta-da, you are. Mm-hmm. You are his prized other possession. And you know why you're not the number one? Because you don't act like a number one. See, you act like a number two. See, when you act like a number two, then you gonna be a number two. A woman only gets to be number one when she starts acting and behaving as a number one. As long as you behave and act as a number two, so shall it be. He told you. He had no intentions of leaving his girlfriend. You said, cool. You can have some of this anyway while she ain't here. Well, guess what? He still ain't leaving, honey. Keep bringing her to parties. And they dancing all seductively in your face. You're number two because you act like number two, The only way to be number one is you behave and act like number one. Am I being clear, ladies? Can I
Absolutely.
be any clearer to you? First of all, you're getting what you deserve because you're getting exactly what you wanted. You said we was bound to hook up sooner or later. I feel like I deserve this guy, and I no longer desire to be his side chick. That's true. Those are probably real feelings you have. You no longer desire to be his side chick. But if he don't want you as the number one, what do we have here? See, ladies, here we go. You can want a man to be your man, but if he don't want you to be his girl, what we got here? We just got you wanting something that he told you you couldn't have in the beginning.
We got a failure too.
I have been hinting at it, and he tells me that I'm a great woman, and any man would be lucky to have me. So should I tell him that I want to be with him and give him an ultimatum? Yes. Yes. That's exactly what you should do. You should, because he just said you're a great woman, and any man would be lucky to have you. So should I tell him I want to be with him and give him an ultimatum? Yes. You should do exactly that. It's time. You're exactly right. It's time to go on and put it out there on the line. You should say this to him so you can find out the truth. That what he told your ass in the beginning is what he meant in the beginning. And you would be good for any man but him.
Right, he's taken.
Or do you think he would just discard me and get another side chick? No, it ain't about another side chick. It's about the chick he got. He got you because you signed up for it. All you had to do was not sign up for it, and you'd have never been the side chick. And then maybe he'd have looked at you and went, wow, she a number one. Let me look into this. But since you bit into number two it is. Safe at second base. You'll never make it home.
All right, wow. Steve. Good answer, Steve. You can email us, guys, or Instagram us your thoughts on today's Strawberry Letter.
That's what I do.
Also, check out the Strawberry Letter podcast on demand.
Wow.
Now, stay tuned because coming up at 46 after the hour, today kicks off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Of course, it kicks off Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. Carla's going to be here to help heighten the awareness of issues concerning breast cancer among African American women. We'll talk about that right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, so today is October 1st. Carla's here to tell us about how you're helping to heighten the awareness of issues of breast cancer among African American women, Carla.
That's right, Shirley. You guys know I am a tireless breast cancer awareness advocate, and I want to make sure that I'm constantly involved in raising awareness about the issues of breast cancer in African American women, as well as provide information on community resources. There's so much information out there. So this Saturday, I will be in Chicago with our home station, V103. Yes, for the 3rd annual Sister Strut Breast Cancer Walk. We will be in Chicago. Shirley and I went last year, actually on my birthday, Shirley. We were there.
I remember. We had great fun.
Yep. Yep. And so I will be there again this year, this Saturday. And just some serious business. Listen, studies show that African American women are more likely to get breast cancer at a younger age and have a death rate from breast cancer higher than Caucasian women of the same age. But awareness of these issues will help the survival rate, and early detection is the key. You hear that all the time about cancer, all cancers. Early detection is the key. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, you can join me this Saturday, V103, at the Salvation Army Kroc Center, and you can register at v103.com, and the keyword is strut. And I will see you guys Saturday.
All right. Needed information as always. Always.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. It was fun last year, though. We had a great time. It really was. But I just went home and put them in the wash.
All you worried about? Is that all you worried about?
You wasn't worried about
They were new sneakers, guys.
Supposed to be out here strutting for a cause.
I was strutting my behind up.
Yeah, we danced.
Yeah, we had fun.
Time.
We really did have a great time.
Raising awareness.
Yep.
Yes.
Going home. Home. Yep.
Yes, in Chicago. It was chilly, too.
Yeah, it really
You know how
was.
it is in the Chi.
You never
We have
know.
2 seasons, winter and summer. That's
summer.
it.
That's it. And summer lasts for, what, a
better not be
couple of
cold.
months.
Yeah.
No in between. That's
Winter
it.
lasts for
That's
10. No,
No,
fall.
what'd you say, Tommy?
No in between, just 2 seasons.
That's it.
Just winter
Yeah.
and summer. That's it. Steve, you lived in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't want to say nothing. You
What
bring
was
back
it?
mad
Puffin'
memories.
Puffin'.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lord. They come talking about the summers are so nice. Well, I wasn't up here for the damn summer. I was up
Summers
here
are
when
great,
hell
though.
came to town.
Yeah. Ooh, it was cold. Cold, cold, cold.
It's the only place where they use hell to describe how cold it is. Cold as hell outside.
All right, thank you, Carla. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to talk about this new TV series that Academy Award-winning actor Forrest Whitaker is in. It's called Godfather of Harlem. We're going to talk about that at the top of the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Man, oh man, there is a
Girlie.
new show on Epix,
seen it.
EPIX. If you don't have this, you can get it from your cable provider. It's called Epix. I had it. I didn't even know I had it. I was paying for it, but I never watched anything on it. But
It's
now,
on Epic?
Epix.
Epic.
I don't even know where it is.
EPIX.
EPIX.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where is it?
It's on your TV.
Yeah. It's on
One of your 30 TVs got
Yeah.
it. Trust me.
Yeah, it comes through your cable company and everything, your cable provider. But man, Steve, they have a show. Forrest Whitaker, you probably have been seeing the trailers about it. It's called Godfather of Harlem. At
Hell
first,
yeah.
it
But
doesn't.
what?
It's
But have
good,
I
man.
seen the show the commercials on other channels?
You probably have.
probably have.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
probably
they
have.
will.
They will,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure they bought packages everywhere. But it's the story of Bumpy Johnson out of New York. He ran Harlem during the 60s, early 60s and 50s, I guess. And man, oh man, Steve, Forrest Whitaker, you know
He's putting it down.
he won an Academy Award for playing Idi Amin. So you know he can act. And
Okay, let me ask you this. Go ahead. That boy can act. I'll ask you this after you tell the story.
Okay. But anyway, it talks about Bumpy Johnson, who ran Harlem. He was the godfather of Harlem. And were there drugs involved and things like that? Yes, there were. And he made, like other groups, like other Italians and people like that, if they wanted to do business in Harlem, then he had to get a cut of that. You know, they were running numbers, they were doing all kinds of stuff back during that time. But also, if you were a mother who had problems with her son and you needed, you didn't have anywhere to go, if you were a single parent, you would go to Bumpy. And let me tell you something, Bumpy Johnson would go talk to the boy and straighten it out. You know, I mean,
But
just
Shirley,
yeah, huh?
Shirley, the guy playing Malcolm X is doing a good job.
Oh yeah, I can't think of his name offhand, but he's doing a great job as well. I mean,
Yes.
Steve, it is so good. I had no idea. I mean, we saw American Gangster, of course, with Denzel,
Right.
talking about Frank Lucas, but he came a little after Bumpy Johnson, and
Yeah.
I heard of Bumpy Johnson because Lawrence Fishburne played him in the movie Hoodlum,
Right.
But yeah,
And he was a good one,
But
too.
the reason that American Gangster was so good, because, you know, a lot of them people still alive.
To talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, because Denzel went and talked to Frank Lucas when he was getting ready for the part. He had done time and gotten out.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was
You're
real
right,
interesting. But that doggone Bumpy, though?
Woo!
boy,
I had no idea, Steve. I had no idea. I mean,
Bumpy's a
I
beast.
truly believe that Forrest Whitaker is Bumpy Johnson. And I'm just going to tell you this. You haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to tell you this. He carried a switchbody. That's all I'm going to say.
And he lethal with it.
That's all I'm going to
He
say.
lethal with it.
All I'm gonna, Steve, everybody, you have to check the Forrest Whitaker. Man, what
Forrest Whitaker does nothing that's not believable.
Thank you. I've never seen him do a bad anything.
Okay, here's the question I had. Let's start with Tommy, the actor on the show. Top 3 favorite actors, Tommy.
Whoa. Denzel, Pacino, and I won't be ignored, Dan.
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close a beast, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you see her and the wife? Oh.
Glenn
Man.
Yeah, she was
Glenn
good
Close
in the wife.
is a beast,
Oh,
dog.
my list ain't nothing like yours.
Okay, I want to hear yours,
I
Steve.
don't
That's
even want to
three,
say
top
my
three.
list. Nah,
Come on, top 3. Let's hear
You
it.
messed me up. Oh.
Come on, let's see.
Denzel is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Don Cheadle is number 2.
Oh, God. He was
Okay.
so
Ooh,
good.
that boy can act, can't he?
And then number 3 is Forrest Whitaker.
Oh!
And then number 4 is Sam Jackson.
Oh, yes. Yes,
And
yes.
then number 5
You
was
still
gonna
going.
be
Well, we'll come back.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
I
Oh,
love
God,
Lawrence, but I'll tell you who else I love too though. That dude that played Martin Luther King.
Oh, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey
That's
Wright.
right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Daniel.
He's a beast.
Yellowell. All right, listen. Coming up, we'll continue this conversation. Coming up, more music, more fun. We'll be back at 20 minutes after the hour right here on the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, Steve, before we went to break, you were asking Tommy about his list of favorite actors.
You know, Tommy's list is more, what I agree with him when he said Al Pacino. I didn't like that last one, Glenn Close. Know what he said.
What?
That for.
Glenn Close a beast, though.
You saw Basic Instinct, right?
I don't give a damn. Look at my favorite
That
actor.
was Sharon Stone.
That was Sharon Stone.
I'm
sir.
sorry.
You're talking about Fatal
Attraction.
Attraction.
Yes, Fatal
Yeah, I
Attraction.
saw that, but that was all that good ass acting. I was married to that before, so.
That's why.
You already knew who that character was.
I got somebody could have
You're
been in
not.
that.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I got somebody could have been that. I done seen that for real. That ain't no acting.
But you was right about
Ramming it
Jeffrey Wright,
up.
though. Jeffrey Wright's a beast.
Oh, my God.
I think he's so underrated.
He really
Jeffrey.
is.
No, he really is.
No,
Really is.
I'm gonna
Really?
tell you, man, who's really, really a great actor.
Who?
Will Smith.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Listen to me,
I love
man.
Will
Yes.
Smith.
I
Yeah.
want to
Ali.
see this new movie.
But that movie Concussion,
Uh-huh.
oh,
The NFL.
this dude right here, man, in Concussion,
Yeah.
oh, Will
Yes.
Smith was, it
Will
was
was good.
so unbelievable.
Yeah,
the
it
role.
was. He has a new one coming out too, Gemini Man.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
wanna see
like,
that,
I
where
like,
he's
I like,
cloned.
I like Al Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
I do like him, but I don't really know nobody's name, so that's why I can't pick him. I just only pick the dudes I know.
When we come back, more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show coming up at 33 after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, let's get to some entertainment news. R. Kelly says he wants out of jail. He says he wants out because his health is failing, guys. R is back in court. He's going back to court for a second try at getting out, pending his various trials, claiming his health has been compromised behind bars.
Who in there don't want out, though?
Exactly. His lawyers just filed a new legal doc obtained by TMZ in which they outline his various medical issues, including numbness in one of his hands, anxiety, and an untreated hernia. Our lawyer, Steve Greenberg, claims that Robert is not receiving adequate medical treatment in jail and calls the conditions of his confinement stifling.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe what he's saying is true. But let me share a couple things.
Okay.
Go down the list of his symptoms again.
Oh, his hand, numbness in his hand.
I've been to jail.
In one of his hands.
I've been to jail. My hand was numb because I was sitting on it all night.
Okay.
That's happened to me. Next
Yeah.
symptom.
Anxiety, Steve?
Anxiety. Everybody in jail got anxiety.
Yeah.
It's called jail.
It's called jail.
Everybody, ain't nobody in there chilling.
Yeah.
Everybody in there got anxiety. What
Worried
else
about
he
your
got?
future. And an untreated hernia. What are you going to do about that?
Hell yeah, everybody got hurt. That's straining my ass off in there. Yeah. Because I stayed in there for a weekend, and let me tell you something. I got a hernia because I got constipated because I didn't go to the bathroom because it was over there in the corner. And I wasn't pulling my pants down in that corner because I was young. So I had a hernia when I got out and went home. I got my hernia at the house. Yeah, trying to go to the bathroom. You constipated, you're going to get a hernia if you really constipated. So now, to say all that,
And
I understand where R coming from.
Well, and he also, he lives with these two girlfriends. But only one of them is allowed to be on his visiting list, and after 90 days, he's required to switch. Now, he did confirm to TMZ the woman who is currently on the list is Azriel Clary, so Jocelyn Savage has to wait it out before she can visit him.
Oh, she there. She just in the car outside. What'd he say? He asked about me?
Wow.
I don't really know nothing about this, and I'm like, I just found out a couple weeks ago that he was in jail. I didn't even know it.
Well, I'm going to quickly get to the Stacey Dash story, Steve, before we run out of time. She was arrested for domestic violence in Florida over the weekend. According to TMZ again, law enforcement sources say that Stacey allegedly punched and slapped her husband, attorney Jeffrey Marty, and they saw scratches on his left arm. Stacey told the 911 operator that she had been assaulted by her husband. She claims the husband's 15-year-old daughter got in her face, and that started the whole situation. The couple has been married for a year. This is Stacey's fourth
You got to whoop
marriage.
the 15-year-old ass, though. You
Mm-hmm.
got to make an example out the 15-year-old.
All right, coming up, our last break of the day, and then Steve will leave us with some closing remarks. That's coming up at 49 minutes after the hour, right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
All right, Steve, here we are, our last break of the day on this Tuesday. It's been a good day.
Yeah, really good day.
Yeah, good day. So time for you now to let us go home, finish our day with some closing.
I want to talk to everybody about your relationship with God. You know what, man? Listen to me. On the real, just as a real dude talking to you, it's the most important relationship you can form. Because the deal about a relationship with God, here's the truth of the matter. He is the one entity that's for real and forever. Now, you may find your soulmate, and you all may stay married until you die. That's cool. Some people think they find them and something happens and it don't last till they die. Divorce is 50% high. Most people don't honor the commitments that they say at the altar. To death do us part, richer for poor, better, sickness and health and all of that. They just don't. God does every single thing he says he's going to do. He do it. So what I'm saying is, this relationship that you can have with God, that you don't have to tell anybody else about, will be the most solid relationship you'll ever form. My relationship is God is better than my relationship with my best friend who happens to be my wife. But guess what? I can tell God anything. I might as well tell him he already know. The other thing about him is when my wife ain't around, God can help me. Here's another thing. When your best friend or the person you think is the coolest in the world don't have an answer for you, God has an answer. So what I'm telling you is 100% real. This relationship that you form with God, it'll be the most important relationship you can. Now, here's the deal. You do not have to go to church to have the relationship. You can start the relationship now. Now, is church good? Of course it is, especially if you find a good church, Bible-based. The man up there really love God and can give you some real leadership, some scriptures. They can teach you stuff. They have Bible study. They got prayer classes. They got everything. You know, they got people that can help you. I'm not knocking that at all. It's very, very important. But here's the deal. You could start a relationship with God right where you are. And I strongly suggest, if you haven't found a church, that you can find God without a church. You can. He's available. God is out here. He's everywhere. He's in everything. He's in nature. He's in the sky. He's in water. He's the creator of everything. His presence is real. But here's what you got to do. To form a relationship with God, I want you to stop allowing people to tell you what God thinks. Beware of this. You know, God thinks that you, don't nobody know what God thinks. This is the first sign that you're talking to somebody who tells you what God thinks. I can assure you they don't know what he thinks. They don't know. Who knows what God thinks? Nobody. Who knows how he works? Nobody. Who knows exactly what or how he'll do it? Nobody, because his ways is so far above and far away from ours. It's unexplainable at times. That's why when something happens in your life that's unexplainable, when something happens in my life that's unexplainable, that's positive, it's always him. Because he's unexplainable. Stop allowing people to tell you what God think about you, what God think about your actions, what God think about your ways. Stop allowing them to tell you what God thinks about your path. Stop allowing people to tell you what God thinks about your choices. Because guess what? They don't know. Form a relationship with God. He'll walk with you. He'll be available to you. He'll share things with you. He'll give you answers. He'll fix it for you. God can do all of this, man. And look, I'm just telling you as a real dude. I ain't faking the funk with you. I'm just telling you as a real imperfect dude what God can do for you. You need a relationship with God. He is really real. Stop thinking that God has abandoned you. Listen to me. I don't abandon you. If you look at it real close, if you really observe your life, you've turned away from God. If you don't feel God, it's because you ain't turned on him and called on him. You cannot call on him and he don't show up. He would love to be that for you. But if you never call on him, he is a God that gives us the power of choice. If you choose not to call on him, he does not barge in. God is powerful. Now, God could make us do anything, but he created us in his image with the power of choice. And he will not take that choice from you because he said he would give you that. He said he'd give it to you, so that's what he do. So he's giving you the power of choice. You can decide to have a relationship with him, or you can decide not to have the relationship with him. I strongly suggest that you form this relationship. Steve, how I do that? Go to a quiet place in your car, in your bathroom, in your backyard, on your porch, somewhere, and say, God, I need you. I need you. And just keep whispering his name. Say it out loud if you can. He comes right away. He comes right away. And then tell him what you want. Tell him what's wrong. Prayer ain't hard, man. You ain't really got to be on your knees to say a prayer. You could be driving. Form a relationship with God, man. It's really, really cool. I'm telling you, it starts with a simple, hey, God, I need you. It starts right there. I'm tired. I can't think of nothing else. I've done the best I can, and I'm out of answers. I need you. Come to me. Show me how to get to you. That's all you got to do. It's real simple. Just give it a try. Those are my closing remarks. That's it.
Drop it.
That's great, huh?
Hey, that's it. Hey, y'all have a great weekend. Don't forget, talk to God. He'd love to hear from you. Bye.
For all Steve Harvey contests, no purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Participants must be legal U.S. residents at least 18 years old unless otherwise stated. For complete contest rules, visit SteveHarveyFM.com.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.